Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for dropping by. Let me just start this video off today by saying thanks a lot, everybody who has taken the time to watch the short videos. I wasn't really sure how those short videos were going to be received, whether or not people are going to watch them. But I've been able to upload, I think about 3 videos or so with some of the chess pieces that you guys have already seen in sort of a rotating format. I just wanted to sort of bring some of those pieces back and try to shoot them with a lens that was going to reproduce as best as possible the proportionality of the pieces one to another, as well as just the overall dimensions of each individual piece, to kind of give you guys a better idea, because I came to a realization quite some time ago that when I used to film a lot of those videos with a wide angle lens, that proportionately, especially if you get really close to some of the pieces, dimension wise, sometimes even though it felt as if the reproduction was fairly accurate, I felt sometimes that we weren't really getting a clear idea as far as how the pieces were and how they translated to video as far as their proportions. So I ended up getting a really large zoom lens and did those short videos where I just kind of rotated the pieces and did things without talking and brought them to you in a very concise, compact format. So once again, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch those. Thanks a lot for liking them. If you have not been able to see those short videos, it may be possibly that you're coming in through like a computer or something where the short videos might not be presented to you. I know that if you're coming through the phone, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't get the opportunity to see those short videos. So if you have not yet had the opportunity to see them, by all means go to my channel and under the shorts you'll be able to see those videos. Also, please let me know in the comments below this video if you guys are still wanting me to put more short videos, or whether or not it seems like maybe just keeping the videos a normal format, normal length, might be something you guys would rather see more of. Which, to me, it's these type of longer videos are a lot more comfortable for me to make. It's just a better way for me to be able to show you guys and connect with you guys in this way. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and show you what I wanted to show you today. This is the very familiar board. This is the Bird's Eye Maple, the Elm Burl Bird's Eye Maple Superior Traditional Chessboard from House of Staunton. I think it retails for about somewhere between $250 to $400 depending on the square size that you get. This particular one is a 2.5 inch, and I believe it's somewhere closer to 400. Very nice, high quality board. On the back here it says made in Spain. We've seen this board again and again, but decent size, decent quality board, very smooth. I love this board. For me, I'm not big on buying new boards, just because if I get a board that I like, a lot of other chess pieces work well on it. So it just so happens that I gotten used to this board, and I didn't even really want to get another board, so to speak. So anyways, until recently, when COVID just began back in March 2020, and even a little bit before then, I was browsing House of Staunton, and I came upon this board that I kind of liked, that looked really nice, but it was out of stock. And I called House of Staunton and I asked them when they're going to have the board back in stock, and they said at least not until summer. And then summer rolled around and they didn't have it, and it wasn't until very recently when they finally got this board back in stock. And I'll give you guys a link below where you guys can purchase it. This one, slightly different board overall. This is a gloss finish board from House of Staunton. It's once again sort of a laminated wood. And on the back side, we see just like a regular sort of a composite wood, the same or similar type of wood that we saw with the other board. But this board is somewhat lighter and probably less expensive in construction. Price-wise, I believe that at some point when I was looking at this board back in March of 2020, it was retailing for about 150 or so, and they were offering different sizes. This is a 2.5 inch because I could have bought a 2.25 and just made it a standard size, but buying it slightly bigger would only have cost me maybe $20 more, so it wasn't that much of a difference. And I figured, hey, you know, a lot of my chess pieces are already pretty large. Would I want to confine myself to a 2.25 and then end up, you know, feeling like I can't play some of my chess pieces? So I ended up getting the 2.5. So it's a gloss finish. You also have the ability to buy this in matte. I believe the gloss finish may have been a little bit more expensive, but by all means, I'll shoot you guys a link so you guys can take a look. One thing that the glossy finish you really see is the dust will collect very readily on glossy finish, and it just sort of sticks to it. Also fingerprints. If you're analyzing a game or something, the fingerprints will show up fairly readily on this. So you would probably want to end up getting some kind of a wipe or something, and periodically you would want to wipe the board. I've never seen fingerprints appear on my other board, but that's because it's matte finish. So fingerprints would, even if they're there, they don't show up easily. My biggest concern with this new board, even when it was available, whether or not to consider purchasing it, was I saw this board online and I saw it many times, and I thought to myself, boy, this looks like a really nice board for photographic purposes. But just because a board or chess pieces are great for on paper, if they're looking really nice, doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be a nice board to play on. So I had my hesitations. I didn't know what to expect. Price-wise, I figured, well, it was probably going to be a little bit less, lower quality than the other board that I have. But anyways, I think I ended up getting it for about $120 maybe. So it was a steal for me because I utilized one of the running discounts that they had. Maybe I ended up getting as much as 25% off of this order. So I ended up getting for the slightly larger size with the glossy finish, and shipping and everything ended up being about $120. So that's great for this type of board. Price wise, I think I really locked out. So what do you guys think? It's somewhat unusual because the squares are black and brown. Usually we see brown and light. So which one of these are going to be the light squares and which ones are going to be the dark squares? Well, obviously, the dark squares are going to be the dark squares, but it's just usually the dark squares are the wood color squares. But in this case, it's like that elite, the Zagreb Elite chess set that I showed you guys a video like way back when the light pieces were actually darker and then the dark pieces were black. It just takes time to get used to this particular design, but I'm going to tell you guys up front that the games that I've played on it, I have had no confusion with regards to like, oh my goodness, these squares are black and brown. Like, what's going on here? I'm getting all confused. No, I didn't have that problem at all. I think that squares are squares, and as long as there's a distinction between the individual squares, as you can see there is a distinction, then you're not really going to have a problem. I overall think that this is a really nice board. Now, okay, so this is the board, and the pieces are going to be the Cook series chess set with the antique
boxwood and a glossy boxwood on the other side. Yeah, the other side, the dark pieces are not genuine ebony. There are glossy boxwood. Now, my big reservation with regards to combining this particular chess set with this board was I felt like I was going to get myself into a predicament with the board itself being glossy, and the dark pieces are going to be glossy, and as you can see here, that it almost feels the squares are so dark and the pieces are going to be so dark that we're going to have some kind of a blending issue. But since we're not really playing kind of, you know, completely 90 degrees like this, you know, and as a result, we're sort of playing at a 45-degree angle, maybe even less. I don't think we're going to have really that much of an issue of losing your pieces on the board, just because even though the pieces blend in quite a bit, it's not that bad. And my wife and I played this particular combination several games, and I've never had a problem to where I felt like, wow, you know, I totally missed that bishop because it was hiding in the corner. Things didn't really feel like they were blending in or hiding too badly. As a way to compare, here's the same pieces, the cooked chess set, on the other board. While here we can see that we really don't have an issue with the dark pieces blending into anything because the dark squares here are brown. So, and I've mentioned this before again and again, this type of board is quite nicely complemented by black pieces like this. So, and then the light pieces here, as you know, in comparison to the other board, I would say the antique boxwood would probably be looking a little bit better on this board than using regular boxwood, because in this particular situation, regular boxwood would be more likely to blend in. So that's the other board. Let's take a look at the other chess pieces. Here's the Turin series chess pieces on this board. Now, what makes a difference here is that maybe the dark pieces aren't as pitch black as the Cook series, and it is possible that with them being, you know, kind of a dark red color as they are, that they will kind of be contrasty a little bit with the dark squares. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. The light pieces here are regular boxwood, not antique boxwood. So they're going to be slightly lighter in shade than the antique boxwood that you guys just seen previously. That's how this particular chess set does look. Just took out a couple of the pieces to show you guys what these particular pieces would look like on this board while playing. Okay, now here's another example of what you would probably expect if your light pieces were boxwood, as you could see here, the regular boxwood, but your dark pieces were acacia wood or golden rosewood, where they're not as dark brown or dark red brown, but more of a sort of a mid-range brown color, as you see here. So this is what you would expect on this board. I'm not using artificial light in this video specifically so that I could give you guys an idea as far as what this board and the pieces themselves here would look under normal natural light. That's why I have the windows open and tried to catch the perfect time of day to make this video. So am I concerned that the dark pieces blend in with the little light squares in this board? Not really. The dark pieces here are kind of a gray brown, whereas the The light squares are sort of yellowish brown, maybe. So they don't really blend in, but let me know in the comments below whether or not you think this is a halfway decent combination. Here are the same pieces, just you know, kind of thrown out on in the middle of the board. Kind of give you guys an idea of what it looks like mid-game. So now this is more of a simplistic chess set. You guys have seen this one. This is the Queen's Gambit inspired chess set. I've shown you guys this numerous times before. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all the chess sets out there, even though I kind of wish I did. But as a result, I can't really show you guys every particular combination as far as like all the chess pieces out there that I could put on and would like to put on this board for you guys. So what I've shown you is a couple of fairly common combinations as far as chess sets, because as far as common goes, I mean, what do we usually see? We either see boxwood and genuine ebony, boxwood and dark boxwood, acacia wood or golden rosewood, or some kind of a blood rosewood type of thing. For the most part, that covers, you know, 80%, 85% of all the chess sets out there as far as like the colors. Not necessarily the shapes, but the colors. So how would other chess sets look on this board? I'd probably say halfway decent. I think that overall, I don't necessarily see any particular chess set out there that I would say no, absolutely not on this board. So as long in this particular case, I feel like as long as the squares are big enough for the chess set, you know, and that's why I ended up getting the 2.5, just because I didn't want to potentially get too small of a board and that not being able to, you know, comfortably play with some of my chess sets on it. So as long as the squares are big enough, I feel like for this particular style, as long as you like this board having these dark squares, like really dark squares, then you'll be fine. Alrighty, well that about wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I always enjoy making videos for you guys. If you haven't done so yet, please be sure to check out the short videos and hit the like button on them too, so that more people can have the opportunity to watch them. Okay? So I hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.